Let's go live to the National Senate Leader, the Shadow Transport Minister, Bridget McKenzie. Thanks for your time. We heard from Trudy there that you've written to the airlines for detail on your travel history. Have they responded yet?
Well, I'm in the middle of a process, Kieran, but yesterday I wrote to the CEOs of Virgin, of Qantas and the administrators of Rex. I've been calling early in the week for the Prime Minister to release a full log of his flights and upgrades, particularly, as Trudy mentioned, when he was Transport Minister and regulator of the aviation sector and really overseeing the level of competition Qantas itself has been subjected to. So I'm a person that doesn't believe, I try not to hold other people to standards of which I don't hold myself to. So obviously I feel it's appropriate to get the full level of detail. I've been in Parliament since 2011, and I want to understand the full comprehensive list. If there are inconsistencies with my public declarations, I will absolutely make those changes.
Okay, so have you heard back from any of the airlines yet?
Well, as I said, Kieran, I'm in the middle of a process. I've written to 3 very busy airlines, and as soon as I get the level of detail and comprehensive response to my letter, I will be updating my declarations as I said I would.
Have you been made aware that there are more upgrades, though? Because when you were on the show earlier in the week, you said you hadn't received a Qantas upgrade, and you did correct the record later that day because there was one that was declared. Have you been made aware of other upgrades now?
Well, Kieran, I think what happened on Monday is sort of the classic case in point. I thought, to the best of my knowledge, that I hadn't received upgrades. I was then made aware that I obviously had. So I want to be doubly sure. I think the public deserves us to be as comprehensive and as accurate as possible so they can ascertain conflicts of interest, etc., and influence. And I think the only appropriate thing for me to have done was to actually get that, because as I go through the records, you don't want to miss anything in something like this. You want to be able to provide the public with the confidence they deserve, because episodes like this undermine trust more broadly in the political system, and that's dangerous long term for liberal democracies. So I want to do my bit.
But you have heard back that there were more flights, more upgrades so
Kieran,
far? Because it sounds like you have.
Comprehensive. I'm not going to, run a running commentary. I've been really open with the media. I've been really open with the public that I've written to the CEOs. We're in the middle of a process, and as soon as I understand the nature of the discrepancies, if there are any, then I will be updating my declarations. I can't be more comprehensive than that, and I'm, really comfortable with the road I've taken.
The reason, obviously, why the questions are being put to you, because you led the charge on behalf of the coalition against the Prime Minister, and if there's glass houses and stones, the old story.
Well, I do. It's a very good proverb, and my mother was often want to quote it to us when we'd be complaining about siblings. But I think the Prime Minister's dead right. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I think the issue primarily with the Prime Minister's declarations or otherwise is that those that were ascertained and received whilst he was the regulator of the aviation industry are the issue. Because at the end of the day, we all know Qantas has a very large market share. They're very muscular in how they approach governments, both coalition and Labor, and they do everything in their power to minimise disruption to their business model. And we've seen that through the Senate inquiry last year. We've seen that as the Labor Party has failed to act on competition in the aviation sector in its white paper, in its competition review. I could go on and on. So that's why the Australian public and, the coalition have been saying, well, what's been the quid pro quo? Was it the Yes campaign support of Qantas, or is it something else?
Sure.
And I think that's the question. The regulator, in receipt of these gives.
You know the rules better than anyone in the Senate, though. You've got to update your register of interest within 28 days if you've been made aware, or if there's a change to your register. Is there a risk here that you're in contempt of the Senate with this stuff?
Kieran, I'm absolutely confident that the 3 airlines I'm speaking to will be able to get me the detail that I have requested within 28 days. So I have every confidence in that. And I think it's a great process. And I would encourage the Prime Minister to undertake the same.